Hi everyone, welcome to another video here on Fuel the Passion, where today I'm at Grantley Hall in Yorkshire. And why am I here? I'm here for Yorkshire Elegance. I've never been here before, but already I've seen some amazing cars. And what a venue. It's absolutely stunning. So let me show you around. Grantley Hall is situated in North Yorkshire, England, located on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales National Park, approximately 28 miles north from Leeds, which is around an hour in travelling time. Grantley Hall was built in the mid-18th century by the Norton family as a private mansion, with additions in the 1760s attributed to John Carr, who in his day was considered to be the leading architect in the north of England. He was responsible for Buxton Crescent in Derbyshire and Harewood House. Grantley Hall later served as a convalescent home during the war and an adult education college before its $70 million renovation into a luxury hotel by the current owners. Today the 5-star hotel is a prestigious venue for high-profile events such as the Yorkshire Elegance. During my walk around, I've spotted a really special Aston Martin that I want to show you. But there's a few special Aston Martins here actually, so let's go and take a look at those. So Aston Martin Works are here, who as you can see from this board celebrate their 70th anniversary of its Newport Pagnell site. So that's 7 decades since the British marque that we cherish and love established its association with the Tickford Street venue, which became its manufacturing service and heritage home. So they've brought along a handful of beautiful Astons. First off we have this. This is one of the strictly limited run of 25 DB5 Goldfinger continuation cars, which is actually for sale, price on application. Now whether this will still be available by the time I manage to edit this video and publish it, which will be a few weeks after Yorkshire Elegance took place, I estimate you could probably purchase this for between £2.75 to £3.3 million. Just look at it in here. As you would expect from Aston Martin Works, it's stunning. Look at the attention to detail and all the gadget switches and buttons. The first one of these DB5 continuations, Job 1 as it was known, rolled off the production line during the summer of 2020, 55 years after the last new DB5 rolled off the production line. This was created in association with Bond filmmaker EON Productions and features working gadgets first seen on the film Goldfinger, most of which actually perform the task as seen in the movie, from raising the bullet shield at the back, changing the number plate, to releasing thick smoke via the rear to allow you to speed off into the distance whilst losing your arch enemies. You can see the bulletproof shield, which does actually deploy. What a lovely, lovely thing. Bless you.
It's a big surprise they're waiting for, and all the couples say for all the reasons. For miles around, you hear them sing.
Look at that, true pro. Thank you very much.
Hope you enjoy.
Cheers, buddy. Have a good one.
Good morning.
Mother and daughter working for the Yankee dollar.
I just had to feature this car in the video. Taking centre stage at Yorkshire Elegance is this purple with gold fleck Aston Martin Valkyrie with this super thin gold Aston Martin badge sitting proudly at the front. Only 275 Valkyries were produced, this being a hybrid, which contains a 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12 engine tailored by Cosworth. This produces around 746 kilowatts, 1014 PS, which is around 1000 horsepower, at 10,500 RPM, with a red line of 11,100 RPM. It has these small cameras with screens inside to replace the wing mirrors. And just look at the aero on this car. Now these were produced from November 2021 to December 2024, so it's not even a year since the last one rolled off the factory line at Aston Martin headquarters at Gaydon, with the engines hand assembled by Cosworth at their facility. Although I've been lucky enough to see a few of these now in person, I'm always struck by how amazing these look. All the engineering and expertise to develop and produce this car is impressive, even if you don't like the look of these. These rear lights, similar individual light dashes which we see on the new Vanquish, but in a different arrangement. And this car now renowned for its rear diffuser and how large these sort of tunnels are. A big thanks to Joe Macari for bringing this very rare car and sharing it with us here at Yorkshire Elegance. Great to get up close to one of these. It looks almost alien-like with the doors open. Look at the aero at the front here, of course all carbon fibre. And here we stand before a faithful replica of one of the very first cars ever built, side by side with one of the most cutting edge machines of our time, the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Few sites capture the breathtaking journey of automotive design quite like this, over a century of evolution, innovation, artistry and ambition. What a display we've got here today. Now over here are two cars with some amazing history. Firstly, this little Aston Martin LM4, which was built in 1930, and within just a few months of being built, the car featured in its first race at Brooklands and came second in class and fourth overall, which is quite amazing for what was in those days a brand new car. This car featured in a further 5 races at Brooklands and raced in the Irish Grand Prix, winning its class, so it had a successful racing career. Another amazing part of its history was in 1930 it was driven by none other than Augustus, or otherwise known as Bertelli, who at the time was on the Aston Martin Motors Limited board, so could be thought of as Aston Martin's chief exec of the time. Talking of legendary cars, they don't come much more legendary than this. This is a Jaguar Longnose D-Type Chassis XKD505 factory works car. This actual car was driven by Mike Hawthorne to victory at the 24-hour Le Mans in 1955. Hawthorne joined the Jaguar racing team in January 1955, replacing Sterling Moss, who had left for Mercedes. However, the 1955 Le Mans was filled with tragedy and controversy. That was the year that the race was marred by the worst disaster in motor racing history, a crash which killed 83 spectators and the Mercedes driver Pierre Levert. 8 hours later, while leading the race 1.5 laps ahead of the Jaguar team, the Mercedes team withdrew from the race as a mark of respect for those who had perished in the accident. The Jaguar team was invited to join them but declined. The French press published photographs of Hawthorne and Ivor Bube celebrating their win with the customary champagne, but treated them with contempt for continuing the race. More positively, 1955 was also the year where Stirling Moss won the Mille Miglia with his navigator Dennis Jenkinson driving a Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR. Stirling also won the British Grand Prix, holding off his teammate Juan Manuel Fangio in a close finish to secure his first home victory for an Englishman in the race. More recently, this Jaguar D-Type also won the Classic Le Mans in 2002, 2016 and 2023. It also won the 2006 Sussex Trophy at Goodwood Members Meeting and did it again in 2013. So this car has a seriously successful racing pedigree, and I'm so up close personally to this. It's so special. It's still got some of the racing grime and stains. What history this car has. Great to see it here. This is another special Aston Martin, this being an iconic 1950 DB2 works team car with that distinctive number plate VMF65. Now, if you'd watched a video called Evolution which covered my visit to the stunning Aston Martin Heritage Trust Museum situated in a beautiful barn in Oxfordshire, you would have seen and heard me talk about a registration plate they have on display, VMF63. In brief, the registration plates VMF 63, 64 and 65, this one, belonged to three 1950 Aston Martin DB2 works team cars prepared for the Le Mans 24-hour race, though only VMF 63 and 64 competed in Le Mans successfully, finishing 5th and 6th overall. VMF 65 was damaged in an accident en route to Le Mans when Jack Fairman missed a corner on a French road and overturned the car. VMF 65 was returned to the factory for rebuilding, subsequently competing in many other races before being sold to private owners. I love that windscreen wiper on the top here, as well as the more traditional lower ones, to give the driver a clearer view in heavy rain. The cars represent Aston Martin's significant post-war return to international motor racing. This VMF 65 car arguably went on to become the most successful of the three. It was driven by a dazzling lineup of British drivers including Stirling Moss, Peter Collins to name just two. After its racing career, it served as a dedicated press road test car appearing in magazines such as Autocar and Autosport. It looks lovely in here. The steering wheel was removed at the moment, it's actually behind the seat. Can you imagine racing this back in the day? To think drivers like Stirling Moss has raced sitting here. Amazing heritage for this car. Long exhaust pipes, one on each corner. I love that this rear number plate is encased in this glass perspex screen. This lovely DB2 remains one of the most actively campaigned works Aston Martins, maintaining its original livery and competing in various high-profile historic events. I wonder if I'll see this competing at Silverstone Festival or Goodwood Revival in a few weeks' time. Videos on both of those events coming soon, so let's wait and see. So special. That's what I love about coming to these type of events and how close you can get to such historically important cars. Now let me give you a quick look around these beautiful grounds and some more stunning cars that are here today.
She's like dynamite when she cries alone at night. She got everything she needs, so beautiful but mean. Everything in life is so uncomfortable. The silent symphony no one can hear. Something broke inside her a long time ago, and she's not supposed to be alone. Supposed to be alone. Alone again. If anyone could see the storm within, I better she keep losing. Like thunderlight behind the edge into the night. She go out for the wind as a dance with the sun. Everything in life is so uncomfortable. A silent symphony no one can hear. Something broke inside her a long time ago, and she's not supposed to be alone. Supposed to be alone. Alone again. If anyone could see the storm within, I better she keep losing. She's not supposed to be. If anyone could see the storm within, I better she keep losing. You can only try to understand. Supposed to be alone. Alone again. If anyone could see the storm within, I better she keep losing. She's not supposed to be. If anyone could see the storm within, I better she keep losing.
Thank you very much. Nicholas from Google.
There are so many cars I wanted to show you, but to avoid a super long video, I'll just talk about two more cars. And the first is this, the raucous Williams FW07-04, which was first used by the Australian F1 driver Alan Jones in 1979. And this was the car that propelled him to win the driver's title, and for Williams, who won the constructor's title in 1980. Alan Jones actually won 7 races in total during 1980, including 2 non-championship events, including the Spanish GP and the Australian GP. He also won 5 Grand Prix, which did count towards the official World Championship, so this was a very successful Williams F1 car. This was powered by the legendary naturally aspirated Ford Cosworth DFV 3-litre V8 engine, which produced around 510 horsepower at 11,000 RPM. The engine built a reputation for excellent durability as well as performance. Just listen to that, what an amazing noise.
The Cup Course winners have got their trophies, the boxes are just down here on the stage. So if you want the box for your trophy, please come down and get it. No, that's the proper V8. I didn't put on my ears yesterday when I had the car in front of the stage, and I'm still...
Now, after a chat with the current custodian of the car, it was time for the car to depart, although they had trouble waking the car up again.
So I've just been corrected. Welcome to the family.
The final car I want to show you is this absolutely stunning Ferrari, this being a 1964 275 GTB. Now this car is particularly significant as it's chassis number 1 and was the first production right-hand drive 275 GTB. I think only 34 of these were ever made in right-hand drive. I love the shape of this model, the curves are just gorgeous. Is this the most attractive, good-looking Ferrari ever made? As you can see, no side mirrors on this car. Just look at that interior, that provocative classic Ferrari steering wheel. Lovely black leather seats. It looks absolutely spotless. Stunning. Under the bonnet there's likely to be a naturally aspirated 3.3 litre V12. The engine produces around 280 brake horsepower, although if it had an optional factory performance enhancement, power could reach 300 brake horsepower. The choice of 3 vents per side on the Ferrari 275 GTB is more than just arbitrary. It reflects both engineering logic and Ferrari's design philosophy in the 1960s. It's like a museum. How great to have all this which goes with the car. A glimpse into the 1960s Ferrari car ownership world. Fantastic to see this. Those twin exhaust pipes on each side. Simple decluttered rear end with just this single round light, which acts as your lights, brake lights and indicators. Now I cannot imagine what this car is worth. Recent auctions that I've looked at have seen Ferrari 275 GTB models, later models sell for between 2.2 million to 4 million US dollars, which is around 1.6 million to 3.7 million sterling. Although this being chassis number 1, it's likely worth a lot more than that. At the end of the day, it's worth how much someone is willing to pay. And this is going to be worth a lot of money. It's amazing to see this up so close. So you can see here that the headlights are housed behind glass covers. This was to reduce air resistance at high speeds. Open exposed headlights create drag. The streamlined covers allowed the 275 GTB to maintain a sleek profile, improving top speed and stability. Pininfarinas designed for the 275 GTB emphasised smooth, flowing lines. Exposed round headlights would interrupt the elegant hood slope. The glassed housings integrated the lights seamlessly into the body. Now this approach became a signature look of 1960s Ferraris, giving the car a clean, aggressive face. Now these wheels are 15 inches with slightly wider wheels at the rear to handle the V12's power and provide better traction. 205s on the front and 225s on the rear. What a beautiful thing. Now celebrities such as Steve McQueen, Eric Clapton and Clint Eastwood have been associated with ownership of 275 GTBs, although not with this particular car as far as I understand. As I've said, this being chassis number 1. So lovely to see this up so close.
So thank you to you guys, thank you Stephen. Talk on the way to the F1 car, down to say to you all, thank you so much for coming to hope you enjoyed the event. Enjoyed the event. Next year, I'm sure we'll be back here again. Already planning and lots of people interested in coming back and being part of the event. So, thank you, judges. Victor?
I've just stepped away from the speakers because there's someone speaking on the tannoy, and that's one of the challenges of today's event. There's always been background music, or there's been band playing or singers, which have been absolutely brilliant, but they're singing a lot of copyright material, so I can't film and have that in the background. But anyway, regardless of all that, the day's almost coming to a close now with this event. But what an event. I mean, it's just such lovely surroundings, lovely gardens, which you can see behind me, a really great setting. So if you haven't been to Yorkshire Elegance, then maybe consider sticking it in your calendar, because as well as car enthusiasts that want to display and show their cars, you can come and visit and pay and have a look round, maybe have a spot of lunch here. But yeah, I'd definitely recommend it. And we've been lucky with the weather. Although it's overcast now, we've had some blue skies and sunshine. But if you were going to choose a car to drive home in today, what would it be? I suppose mine would be that DB5, James Bond inspired DB5. But there are so many cars that appeal to me. Those old Bentleys with those really narrow windows. There's one in particular that is just absolutely lovely. And what a presence on the road that is. So yeah, I'm going towards the older versions rather than newer versions. And don't get me wrong, the Valkyrie is lovely. Anyway, enough of me waffling. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, because there's plenty more videos to come. See you on the next one.